Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. And I've got everything tweaked, at least, despite the craziness that's going on, at least we got internet here. So this is a live show. If you're watching this at approximately 7:22 p.m. New York City time, this is a live show. I hope that everyone that's watching this is watching this from the safety of quarantine, because the stuff's going on. It's no joke. Quarantine, 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 quarantine. I can't say it enough. Quarantine. Because otherwise, this is just going to continue to go on. So being as productive as possible here while in quarantine, and, trying to constantly come up with new video ideas. Obviously, travel for IrixGuy's Adventure channel is not happening. I mean, travel for most anyone's not happening because it's unsafe. And, travel now, unfortunately, even implies, driving down the street to pick something up at a grocery store, because that's, unfortunately, that's dangerous too, because there's so much stuff in the air. But, we're going to get through all this. And the good thing about it is that, it has created a unique opportunity, and something I've addressed within a few videos that I published already, and will address in some of the videos that are in the works, is the quarantine does not have to be a bad thing. I mean, this is a horrible thing that's happening worldwide, but although it's a horrible thing, it's created a lot of opportunity, not just for businesses, but also for individuals. And those opportunities are opportunities that probably would not have been realized had something like this not happened, and force people to become more socially distanced. And it's it is a horrible thing, but it has definitely forced people that want to thrive. It is forced people to learn how to innovate. People that may not have been innovators in the past, this is pretty much forcing their hand and saying, hey, you need to learn how to innovate, or you're not going to make it. It's a horrible time, but it's only a horrible time if we allow ourselves to label it a horrible time. If you label it an opportunity, then the thing becomes something completely different. And again, I'm not trying to downplay the severity of the coronavirus, because so many people are downplaying the severity of the coronavirus. And that irritates me beyond belief, because it is a serious problem. Sure, the media is painted their little pictures and this, that, and the other, and the politicians have too. But the reality is that it is a serious problem. And, it's not something that it's like, oh, well, I wonder if coronavirus is bad. Maybe I want to just go out and, walk around the shopping center and try to pick it up. It's not one of those things that anyone in their right mind would just want to go out and pick up and roll the dice and hope that it's okay. And, unfortunately, what I've seen a large camp of people, and I haven't seen in person because I've been quarantined. I've been responsible and, trying to protect others and obviously protect myself. But, there's so many people that are being less than responsible, that are just going out, acting like there's nothing going on. And those are the people that are the biggest part of the problem. And, we don't need to live in fear. I mean, that's stupid. But we don't need to convince ourselves that what's going on is just, a big thing created by politicians and the media to scare people and tank the economy. Because, I know without a doubt, there's a huge political and, political element. And then there's also the ad revenue for all the news agencies. I mean, they're having a field day. What better way for your agency to make more money than to have something that's happened that's forced people to be quarantined. And when they're quarantined, what are they going to do? They're probably going to watch TV. That's probably going to be a big component of it. So, your views are up, and obviously when views are up for any sort of news agency, the ad revenue goes up. So, for the news media, a pandemic like this is huge, because it's rocketing the amount of views they're getting. Now, the flip side of that is that even though the amount of views that they're getting are rocketed, a lot of the advertisers, unfortunately, because of the collapsing economy, There's not as many ad dollars going in. We got, let's see, Laznarb, props for being responsible. Irresponsible people are the reason this will take so long to end. If everyone stayed in place at the start, we'd been done in a couple more weeks. I agree wholeheartedly. And it's a sad oversight. No, I don't even want to call it an oversight. It was an intentional oversight to not take action when this popped up, because we all remember. Well, it was like, oh, there's a flu in Wuhan. We remember those days. But obviously, if there's something that spreads so easily, why didn't I'm not talking just the United States, but why didn't the world say, okay, we're going to be safe, we're going to stop all travel, we're going to force people to quarantine now? Had they done that, to your point, we would have been past this. Hey, and maybe, I don't know which country you're from, but if you're from the United States or Europe or whatever, it could be a situation where this didn't even spread beyond China. And what I think, and I'm not big into conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other, but I'll go ahead and be that way. Who cares? I'm in quarantine. I'm going half crazy because I've been in quarantine. But despite going somewhat crazy due to prolonged quarantine, it's still a positive. I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is not, this is not a situation where we want to continue to prolong this problem, to prolong the pandemic. If we're all responsible, and the sad part is that I don't see leadership. This pandemic has demonstrated a few things. Number one, it's demonstrated how ignorant of a society that we live in. I mean, this society is extremely uneducated, unfortunately. And then number two, how leadership, and I'm not just saying, I'm talking leadership at all levels worldwide. This isn't pointing a finger at, one political party or the other, but how the world as a whole, how they've failed to react. They failed to react responsibly. I mean, it's not like we're locking people up, and I'm one for let's see, Loznarb said, I'm in Maryland. Lucky my job was 3/4 work from before this. Feel bad for those who can't work from home. There are so many, and that's the thing. That is one of the hidden gems that has emerged as the product of the pandemic. And that is people realizing that, hey, work from anywhere works. If work from anywhere can work during a pandemic, work from anywhere should be able to work during any times. Talking about reducing costs for companies. People that run a business, and I operate several businesses, and it's something I've always done and I've enjoyed doing. But businesses that have to pay for the extra space to house employees, they have to pay for the extra heating and cooling, all kinds of stuff, extra perks or whatever in the office. So, having a virtual work site, that's huge. That can save companies tons of money. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people, a lot of organizations after the pandemic comes to a close, it'll say, hey, we've realized that we can save a lot of money by implementing a work from anywhere type environment. And it's not all bad. I mean, the bad part is that just these people that I see just going out, it's like, oh, there's a new video game that came out. Oh, I got to go get that. Stupid things that people are going out to buy. I mean, I've gone out to hike, and that is it. I mean, I've gone out to hike, and, but I was able to remain socially distant. I was able to get out of my vehicle, hike the trails, get back in the vehicle. I ran into a few people in the wilderness, but I'm like, no, don't want to talk to you. And just, I'm that guy. I'm rude. I am proactively exercising social distancing, and people realize that when they see me. Found you years ago when you put out those videos modifying that Dyna-Glow smoker. The Dyna-Glow smoker, man, that was one of my favorite things, man. And the sad part is that that now, even trying to get some good meat to smoke is next to impossible. And that's been part of the problem with being quarantined. And again, this is a mental challenge that a lot of people can't deal with, forcing themselves to be quarantined, see the same walls every day. It's easy to see why people that are quarantining, that they decide to, I'm just going to break away and do this, that, and the other. All it takes is a minute or two out of the quarantine location to contract the virus, and people don't realize that. Loznar says, we're getting more done now as a company fully work from home than we ever did before. It woke management up to the fact that this can work long term. Like you just said, definitely. Yeah, it's one of my, and I don't speak specifics, but one of my roles was for a Fortune 100 company for many years. And there was an upper level, high level executive within the company that I highly respect and stay in touch with today, even though I'm no longer with that company. But one of his big initiatives was implementing a work from home strategy for this Fortune 100 company, and it was truly impressive to see how he did it. And not only how he did it, but also how he got buy-in from all different levels, and all of the flack that he caught throughout the adventure. Because a lot of people are not for work from home. They, no matter how it's spun or how it's mapped out in a very granular fashion, there's some people that aren't going to buy in, and then there's people that are for it for the wrong reasons, because they realize that there's ways to abuse the opportunity. But in today's world, for most, and again, every type of business is different. A lot of business requires hands-on with equipment and this, that, and the other. But things that could be done from any cubicle anywhere, I think should be able to be accomplished from home. And it's so cool seeing that. And just looking at something on my YouTube channel that I've paid a lot of attention to, or the analytics. I've been studying the YouTube analytics, and it's impressive to see what's spiking as far as views are concerned. And I've got like how to green screen tutorials. Those have been spiking, and that makes sense because you've got kids at home because school's closed, and obviously video production is a huge component of school nowadays. Wasn't when I was growing up, but it is now. And so it's interesting to see those are spiking. Obviously, topics like how to video conference, this, that, and the other. So it's easy to see the surge within internet search. How many people were searching for these topics. Losnarb said, not sure where you are, but Grand Western mail order steaks still had decent meat earlier this week. They are in Florida. Ship out Grand Western mail order. I'm going to look that up. I've used Grand Western steaks. It's funny you say that. And, cool, Grand Western steaks. Aha. They're in Fort Lauderdale. This is going to be my next on the list, and they've got a coupon code. That's cool. I didn't just order, but I ordered several weeks ago, and it arrived today, actually. Ordered a big assortment of steak and some chicken and some burgers. Got it from Omaha Steaks, and I know Omaha Steaks used to be good, but I'm assuming, and I know their quality's gone downhill, but I got it just because I was able to get it, and I had a coupon code, and I know it's pretty good stuff. How would you rank, and I've never ordered from Grand Western, how would you rank Grand Western steaks in comparison to Omaha Steaks and Kansas City Steaks? Bosnarf says, we're a software services company of Fortune 500. Management didn't think programming could be done out of the office and built huge buildings to hold all that. That's funny. Yeah, it's Rob Matters. Hey bro, how goes it? What lens do you use? Great question. Let me get my lens and I'll show y'all. I'm going to grab it right over here. I'll be right back. I'm just going to step away from the microphone for a second. I am coming right back. So I got my toys here. So one of the lenses that I use is this lens right here. Let's see, this lens. And you can find all these lenses on my website, by the way. So anybody's looking for lenses, check out my website. This is the Baddest 85mm. It's a Carl Zeiss lens. It's got a lens hood. This lens is cool. It's got a depth of field window in the top, right there in the front, so you can see the depth of field. It's autofocus, but you can manual focus by wire. 85mm cat's eye bokeh, so it's not circular bokeh like a G Master. It's got a cat's eye shape. The saturation on this lens is incredible. It is an f1.8 aperture, so really shallow depth of field. Just a really good quality lens. What I usually use this for, and sometimes I use it for video, but most of the time just taking portraits of people. When I snap a portrait with this lens, it looks like something professional out of a magazine. Not a cheap lens, but not super expensive. And I put it in this little protective case there. Then my lens that's kind of my everyday walk-around lens now is this. This is the, and again, you can find all these on my website. This is the G Master, Sony G Master f2.8 24-70mm. So this lens is awesome for video, awesome for stills. It's heavy, but it feels heavier. See, I was using Zeiss Baddest lenses in the past. I had the 25 as well. Actually, I don't have the 25 anymore because I pretty much use my G Master. This lens stays on my camera most of the time right here, the 24-70, just because it's such a versatile focal length. I mean, I can do the 25mm for landscape. I can do the 70mm for for portraiture, and then I've got in the middle, when I'm trying to frame a shot perfectly, is when I'm out in the wilderness and I'm trying to do a face-on video segment. This lens is the boss. Now I've got another lens that I use too. Let me grab it. Wait just a second. I'm getting the lens. So this is the other lens that I use. And this one right here is really good too. So this is the see, I lost my YouTube window there. There we go. Yeah, so this right here is my 16-35mm G Master. So this is a f2.8 lens also. What I like, it's got the same size filter as the 24-70. It's an 82mm filter, so that's handy. You can see it says 82mm on that one as well. So you got the same size filter, which is nice. This is 16-35mm, just like the other one that I've got there, the 24-70. This is a great lens for video and photo. Just like the 24-70, it's got the autofocus, manual focus toggle on the side, as well as the focus hold button. If you want to get some incredible, landscape photos, landscape videos, this thing is a boss. And it's not as heavy as the 24-70. Now, previously, I used a Zeiss Baddest 25mm, and I no longer have the 25mm lens just because I felt that having the 25mm lens and the 16-35 was kind of redundant. And this lens is is a pretty light lens. The 24-70 is significantly heavier, but I carry these two, and I'm pretty good to go. And and then if I'm doing portraiture or whatever, and I want to give it that unique cat's eye bokeh look, this 85mm Batis is pretty much my go-to lens for portraiture. I don't, even though it's awesome for video, since it doesn't zoom in and out, and I can get image quality pretty much as good, if not better, from the G Masters that zoom. Again, my walk-around lens is a 24-70. Rob says, Beast, money, baby. Let's see, we got Laznarb. You don't need to do it now, but if you want a video idea, could you make a video on how us work from homers can green screen? You know what's funny? You asked that. I think I can do it right now. Check this out. Here it comes. There you go. So that video is entitled How to Green Screen During a Web Conference. So that's something that would be applicable for, your WebEx, your GoToMeeting, your Uber conference, your, insert whatever web conferencing tool here. And what it does, it's pretty cool when you watch that tutorial. And I prepared that tutorial last Sunday, by the way. I was hiking and I did the intro and the outro, and then I did the rest in the studio where I am now. Recorded the tutorial, the screen tutorial. But yeah, I was brainstorming while I was hiking. I'm like, people are working from home. People are, doing school from home. What can I post to cater to those people? What can I post to capture more search from the internet? And Losnar, share that with all your colleagues, man. I want this to go out. That video, by the way, I do monetize it. So that's what helps to support my channel. Being an independent YouTube channel, man cannot live off of Google ads alone. There's got to be Google ads, but then there's also got to be the affiliate piece. So if you're looking for any of the equipment within that video's description, I've got a link. It's all on my website. You can find the green screen lights, the green screen backdrop, the camera, the audio equipment. It's all there. So I sound like I'm trying to hustle and sell some stuff, but I am trying to hustle and sell some stuff. I mean, being an independent YouTube channel, I'm not just doing this because I love it, but I'm doing it because it pays me. So, Lazar said, I will share that link on our chat. Very cool. Yeah. Share it with everyone because right now that video, let's see, where is it right now? It is, I'm going to that video to see. So since Sunday, it's had 131 views and 8 likes and 0 dislikes. So it's getting some attention. I mean, it's not, I don't know. I'm ready for it to catch on rather. Because I mean, I take time. That video I just linked, the how to green screen during a web conference video, that took me, well, the intro and the outro part, that just took a few minutes. But the rest of it to narrate, stitch the audio together, cut out all the fat, I mean that, and then export and then upload and then tag, that one video took me about 3 or 4 hours. So that was, I did put a significant amount of energy into creating and publishing that video. So yeah, anybody that needs to know how to green screen during a web conference, please share that video with them. We got Rob. He says, I use a GH5S. Oh, nice. Panasonic Lumix. Speed booster Canon EF. Very cool. Rob says, yeah, do your setup video. Yeah, it's but yeah, these times, if people allow themselves to think outside the box and use the tools that they have, and something I'm doing, you hear room echo right now, and this is something I'm super excited about. I've sitting in this room, quarantined and working and trying to think of ways to improve everything. And sitting in this room, I've realized that the room echo is obnoxious. And I mean, you can hear the room echo during this live show, I'm sure. And it's something that I went out on the internet, and again, YouTube. I mean, there's so many people on YouTube already that have tackled this. Oh man, share it on LinkedIn. That'd be awesome. Yeah, share it everywhere. I mean, that is turbo support, man. I mean, seriously, because it's good that people can discover this content during an internet search, but if they can find it, because you're sharing it, I mean, that's freaking cool. Rob says your audio is good. Oh, thanks, man. This audio, and it's interesting, and I used to use, which was also a good microphone. It was a Blue Yeti, which was a lot heavier than this, and this microphone stand I've got. It didn't, I mean, this microphone stand I got was, I don't know, $10. I mean, it's a cheap thing, but on set, you just see the arm and it looks professional. But it was not good enough, the microphone stand was not good enough to support the weight of my old microphone. So what I had to do is, and I didn't have to, I had it on my desk and it was fine, but Rode, and again, I'm not sponsored by Rode or anything, but if you're looking for Rode microphones, check out my website. You can find them all there, IrixGuy.com. But since all the other microphones I use, like this little mic right here, which I like, it's got the fuzzy windscreen on it, doesn't require batteries, awesome audio quality, and then I use my Rode Wireless Go, which I've got over there on my desk. But since I use Rode for my cameras, I was like, well, why don't I use Rode for my live streams? And they had a previous version of this, and it was a different, I forget the model of it, but it was significantly more expensive. And then Rode released this, I think just a few weeks ago, and it's the NT USB. You can find it on my website, but and I'm glad you said that about the audio quality. I've been stoked while using this microphone, and I mean it's very well made. It comes with a base that's magnetic. It's just super solid. But if you take it off the base, like I've done, you can attach it to a microphone stand, and that's what I've done, because this way the microphone's right in front of my face, and I'm not having to hunch over to talk to the microphone that's on my desk. So this is just an incredible mic, and it's USB-C on the back. The cable's not permanently attached, so you can bring your own USB-C cable. If you need to go USB-C to USB-A, you can. If you need to go USB-C to USB-C, you can. That's what I'm doing. I'm running it in a MacBook Pro right now. But, man, yeah, it's, this is a time, everybody's tuning in. We got a lot of people coming in here. The Rode Podcaster, that's a nice one, man. It's got the pop filter on it. Rode, if you're not familiar, if people out there watching are not familiar with Rode is based in Australia, and like this microphone, I mean, they just make, from my experience being, someone on an extreme budget, but still wanting to produce with high quality audio, Rode, in my opinion, is impossible to beat. Yeah, it's, I forget how much this was. Was it right around $100 US? Wasn't bad. Yeah, the magnet mount, I've got it over here in my, let's see. Yeah, this is the base it came with. And if you take it off of that, it just sticks in. It's on this little arm thing. The arm thing's part of it. And it would just stick in there and sit on top of this. It's magnetized. Very strong magnet. But yeah, it's I've enjoyed it. And again, I've enjoyed all all my Rode microphones so far. They're just really an incredible company. But yeah, this man, Grand Western Steaks, I'm excited about this. It's they are gonna, man, they've got, oh man. Let's see. I'm gonna go for the basic cut here. I'm gonna go for sirloin. Out of stock. No. Sterling Silver Premium Sirloin Steak. Nice. Starting at $7 each. That's not bad. Select size. Let's see. Wow. This is, man, I'm not going to look at that now, but this Grand Western Steak site's got me excited. The best part is, oh, you added me on Instagram. Very cool, man. The Rob Matters. Hey, I appreciate that. I need to, speaking of Instagram, man, that's something I've neglected. I need to get back on that and start using it more. Facebook owns Instagram, and Facebook's kind of made me mad. And I posted a video about it a while back. They, for whatever reason, Facebook, and I've emailed them multiple times. I said, look, this is unacceptable. Of course they don't care. But they blocked on my Facebook page, facebook.com/IrixGuy. I can't post my own website, IrixGuy.com, on Facebook or Instagram. And it's just really making me mad. So it made me so mad, I've gotten to where I don't care about Facebook or Instagram, and I'm pretty much YouTube only. I love YouTube. I really do love YouTube. I've been to YouTube's Space. I've unlocked YouTube Space in New York. I filmed up there, and then I was invited to Google in California, but obviously I'm not able to go to Google's headquarters because of what's going on. Yeah, I agree, Rob. Bazar said they had a ribeye or porterhouse that you could buy and get 18 burgers. Wow. Look under specials. I'm going to check out the deals here. Porterhouse. Oh, man, I love porterhouse. Man, this is... Oh, man. Man, that's awesome. You know what I thought was weird today, and this has never happened, and I guess they've just changed their format of doing things. But when I got my Omaha steaks, it was in that standard, the white styrofoam cooler that you're accustomed to seeing. But when I opened it up, everything was individually boxed, but there was no dry ice in there. It was just boxes with the meat in it. And of course, I opened every box and checked and made sure the meat was frozen solid, and it was. So I don't know what they're doing now. There wasn't any dry ice at all in there. So just write down that coupon code SVE. Buy SS bone-in filet, get free pork chops. That sounds good. Man, seriously, you made my day talking about this food here. Grand Western Steaks. Wow. Wonder how long they've been in business, because obviously Omaha was the original, and then there's, I guess, Kansas City Steaks came after Omaha. Man, that looks good. I tell you one that's super expensive is, what is it, Falger Brothers, and then there's Allen Brothers. I think it's Falger Brothers or Allen Brothers. Those mail order steak places are high. So you got kicked off of YouTube? How'd you manage that? Guga Foods. I'm going to add Guga Foods right now. Let's see. Guga Foods. Guga Foods. Let's see. Guga Foods. Wow, 1.56 million subscribers. I just subscribed to Guga Foods. Let's see. Yeah, that's awesome to have a new supplier for meat. He's only done that. You're talking about the subscriber count. Yeah, that's funny, Rob. That when it comes to politics, that's one thing I disagree with about all the social networks is that they tend to hamper freedom of speech. I mean, say what you want to say. Who cares what other people think? I mean, it should be freedom of speech should exist. I started my nose and everything started stopping up again, and then and now I've got a sore throat again. So I hope the only thing I've done is gone to the wilderness, and I hope I didn't come remotely in contact with someone with this corona stuff. I'm drinking some juice with some tequila in it right now. Hopefully that'll help me out. Yeah, Losnarb says, yeah, politics get you deplatformed quickly. It's sad no matter what your view. Yeah. Losnarb says, I'm kind of hoping COVID aligns us more as a country to care about our way of life and not how much the niche politics. Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Bruce Jones says, hey, all, let's give him some likes. Really like his style content. Greatly appreciated, man. Greatly appreciated, Bruce. Yeah, it's oh, is it drink green? No, this is actually it's kind of a yellow color. It's a mango mix, some ice that's melted, and then this cheap this discounted tequila that I got, but it was 100% agave tequila, so it's cheap, but it's still good. Yep. This is something I really enjoyed. This Ninja, the little Nutri Ninja. Do I have that on my website? I mean, on my YouTube channel. Let me see. Let me see here if I got that. If I don't, that's something I need to review. No, I don't. And I have one downstairs. Let me set a reminder to do a Ninja review. This is what I do. I set reminders. Ninja blender review. It's definitely something I need to do. So this thing's awesome. It blends ice really well. It's cheap. You can get it on, just go to my website, go to Amazon. You can find it there. Let's see. I'm going to add a reminder. Boom. So yeah, I'll add that. And I've got a few things coming soon. I've got And not to spoil the surprise, but I'll go ahead and throw out a teaser. I've got this thing coming. Vaznar says, I'm drinking an IPA beer, Dogfish Head. Dogfish Head, I love Dogfish Head. COVID-19 has already increased my drinking 50%. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it is keyed out, the drink. Yeah, I've got a cleaning product coming, and I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is, but so basically I'm like, you know what? When you walk in a place and you've been out somewhere, say, and I don't go out, but say you did, and you were in a grocery store or something, you walk around, then you don't take your shoes off when you get back to your quarantine house, then all that stuff that people may have sneezed or coughed or talked and it fell on the floor, it's on your shoes, and then you track it all over your house. And then you walk around barefoot, get in your bed, then you got COVID-19 in your bed. So that's prompted me to create a rap video. That's right, a rap video. And that rap video will hopefully drop here at the end of the weekend. I just figured I might as well, it's something different to put together. Vaznar said, have you done any South American traveling? I have not. COVID messed up all my travel plans, but I spent 60 days in Brazil last year. Had a blast. Was doing Peru and Argentina, but I canceled. Man, that's a place I'd like to go. Especially down there. That's where Patagonia and all that stuff is for hiking. I think that'd be really cool. I hear the meat down there is really good. Actually, one of my best friends from college was from Paraguay, and he was telling me about that, and that was an interesting. And Paraguay may be different, but he was talking about the politics and how pretty much if the other political party was coming into office, that that all of the people that were connected with the previous political party were pretty much killed. So it's pretty raw. I think some parts of the country can be really raw and corrupt, but I'd like to go down there. Obviously there's places I would avoid, like Venezuela. I don't think I'd care to go there. Lazar says he speaks Spanish and Portuguese, learned both from his ex-wife. Only thing decent he got out of the marriage. Hey, at least you walked away with something. Wish COVID could last. Enjoy my wife staying at home all the time. Says Rob. Well, let's see what we got here. We have a bunch of stuff. Man, I'm looking at these steaks. You got me searching here for steak online. Rob says, need to fly to Nashville to make a video for the Glock store, but I don't want to fly. So, speaking of Glock, do you think the Glock 10 millimeter would be sufficient for a bear? I mean, not that I'm going to go bear hunting, but for defense if I'm ever attacked. Because I've got a Glock 32, which is 357 SIG, and I love it, but I just don't think that the 357 SIG is sufficient for an animal that big. Vaznar says, yeah, if you're a total tourist-looking gringo, you need to just stay in tourist areas or you will have issues. Yeah, and that's the case in a lot of countries. And my thing is, when when I'm out of the, when I'm in these remote places, I always just try to look bummy, and that's the best thing. Lazar says, nice thing about Brazil is your skin color wouldn't give you away, as they have people whiter than you. Your accent in Portuguese or lack of Portuguese would give it away. Yeah, I would just act like I can't talk. I'd just be like, I could just put on a fake accent and be like, hola, como está? Rob says, bear spray or yeah, I always carry bear spray. I've got a bear bell, I've got bear spray, or a 44 Magnum. Yeah, that's probably what I need to get. But I want something compact. That's what I like about the Glock, is that it's very compact. It's easy to strip, easy to clean. Yeah, the best thing to do is just, go down to South America and just not talk. And maybe I just walk in and start gesturing at them or something and just be like, hey, I'm here. But yeah, I've had a few. I'm trying to think where I almost got mugged. Let's see, where was well, I don't really want to say, because some of these places are, I don't want to give the countries bad names, but I mean, it's, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's been some interesting encounters that I've had. 50 caliber Glock conversion, very cool. Man, I hope I'm not coming down with this crap, because I'm starting to feel congested, and that's not a good thing. And all I've done is gone out to the wilderness. My nose is kind of stopped up, my throat's sore. Man, I cannot afford to get this COVID crap. I was going to drink this discount 100% agave tequila and hope it'll help out. Because that's one thing, there's no cure for this stuff. So, the USA is great, but I will tell you, man, if you get out and just go to the most remote hole-in-the-wall places, I mean, yeah, you can put yourself at a, yeah, hopefully it's just sinuses, because I was out, with all the wildlife and all that. Waznar says, Bahamas, I had the most issues. Jamaica, I thought I would, and I never had an issue. Speaking of, one of the places I've been where I had the most problem, welcome, Andrea. Andrea was very nice and did a super chat during the last live show. That was awesome. Jamaica is actually where I had a problem. We were over in the grill, and there were some shopping areas just, right in the grill. And the people, and we had just left when it happened, but this other group in another taxi, they were just in a store shopping. This guy came up and stabbed and killed the guy. So, I mean, it's raw. That's one of the few islands. Jamaica is one of the few islands that I felt unsafe. The only other encounter I ran into was in St. Kitts, which for the most part was a safe island. But we were approached, and it was during broad daylight, but we were approached and basically told them they were going to kill us and this, that, and the other. And, and it wasn't an exciting experience by no means. But it's something I'll never forget. But I don't want to give, St. Kitts a bad name, because it's an awesome place and everything else about it was great. But, it just shows, if you don't know how to handle yourself, during an encounter, that, you could be killed pretty quickly. So you got to know what to say, how to say it, and, not fuel the conflict. So it's, I don't know. But yeah, I hope this is sinuses, man, because like I'm sitting here sniffing, I got sore throat. Yeah, Marriott in St. Kitts, I know exactly what you're talking about. You go there, and then you go from the Marriott, you go across that little island part where you go down to Reggae Beach and Spice Mill. Spice Mill is one of our favorite restaurants on St. Kitts. And then also, I don't know if you've been to Sprat Net. Sprat Net's only open a few nights a week, and they're only there until they sell out all their food. But Sprat Net has some incredible food, man. And then, of course, on the pricier side, Spice Mill. Yeah, where I had the encounter was in downtown Basse-Terre. And surprisingly, it was on one of the congested streets in Basse-Terre in St. Kitts. What if I had COVID and a runny nose? That's the scary part. I don't know. It's like, that's the thing now. Anybody gets congested or coughs or whatever, everybody, jumps to the assumption it's COVID. The Indian place on the main road. Trying to think. Let's see, we did Spice Mill. Of course, Reggae Beach Bar, good drinks and food during the day. Great, really good mahi sandwich. And then Serendipity. Serendipity was the one in Basse-Terre. Actually, the house we had in St. Kitts was just a few hundred feet. We walked out of our house in Basse-Terre, and Serendipity was just a few steps away from that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, St. Kitts, man, has incredible food, incredible. The people there are incredible, except for the people that, threaten to kill us. But I guess that can happen anywhere. I know the area you're talking about. Actually, I flew my drone in front of the Marriott where they got the casino. I think it used to be a golf course. It's, at least when we were there, it was not in use. But I just went out there and flew the drone. But what's your favorite Caribbean island? Man, I tell you, this staying inside staring at the walls will drive you crazy. And the bad part is all the gyms are closed. And obviously, even if they weren't, you couldn't go to one and be sane. But it's just awful feeling like we hired a guy to take us to the top of the mountain. He did it barefoot and was like 65. We were struggling. He was like, keep up. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, we didn't. That was it Mount Laguma? That's the one thing we didn't do. We did Brimstone Hill Fortress, and that was super cool. And actually, this was in the infancy of drones, and I forget which drone it was. It was one of the Phantoms, but I pulled that sucker out, and the guy came running out of the Brimstone Hill Fortress, said, no drones. So I had to land the drone. But yeah, I won't forget that. That was a cool place. Yeah, Bermuda is one of my favorite places, man. I love. We got a little house that we stay at on the east end in St. George's. Just a short walk from Oleander Cycles in St. George's. Just getting a moped, going around the island, eating the Bermudian fish chowder, drinking some rum swizzles. Yeah, Bermuda is, and the thing is, in Bermuda, it's you just feel so safe. I mean, it's a different, and I guess you know this, but one of the interesting things about Bermuda is that that you don't, unless you're a local there, you can't rent a car. So it's either moped or bus or taxi. Yeah, the monkeys at the Fortress are great. And then also on, what's the name of that beach? The one where Shipwreck Bar was. The monkeys there were all over the place, jumping on the little canopies. Yeah, that Swizzle In, yep, Swizzle In, Swagger Out. I've been there. I've been to the original, towards the east end, and then I've driven by the one towards the west end, but never been in that one. Yeah, that was one of Swizzle Inn was one. The claim to fame for it was a guy by the name of Bob Hope, and he helped to make Swizzle Inn famous. Rum Swizzle. Rob, I'll check that out, man, on the Instagram. Actually, when I get on Instagram later. Yeah, people there are super friendly, man. We actually, I was in Bermuda with STK's Adventure Channel. You have to check out. I'm going to type that's the YouTube URL, but that's one of my best friends. And we were in Bermuda, and we were going deep sea fishing the next day and staying on the east end of Bermuda, and went out. And St. George's at night, I mean, the nightlife there is completely different than other countries. And we ended up at this place called the Mini Yacht Club. And it was like, we're in there, and it's all locals, and it's like, the boat owners in the area or whatever. It's called the Mini Yacht Club, and then we're in there drinking and talking to these people. They're like, who are these guys? Who are they? And it was just a funny experience because everybody was nice, but it's just like, who the heck are these people? Why do they have such a weird accent? But I mean, I wouldn't say it. They're not rude in Bermuda. They're nice. It was just funny. They're like, what are these people doing here? Because it's not, the East End's not necessarily a tourist area, and to have people, walking the streets at night and hanging out in the yacht club is kind of unusual, I guess you would say. But full disclosure, we went there because we were able to film a lot of YouTube videos and fish and just ride mopeds around on the cheap because, there's next to no gas for a moped. But I tell you, eating in Bermuda gets expensive, but it's worth every penny. I think there was a lunch I had in Bermuda that was over $100. But I mean, it was good, but it was just like, wow, that's expensive stuff. I think that's what I like about, I don't know if you've been to the Virgin Islands, the United States Virgin Islands. That's what I like about that place, is that the cost of everything is significantly less than the British Virgin Islands. And then also, obviously, a lot less than Bermuda. Man, this nose thing's getting worse. I hope I don't. If I have this stuff, I'm going to be so mad. Oh, it's not fun. Yeah, Losnar said, I'm really hoping my company lets me stay programming from home after this. As I always said, I could be on some island and do my job as I travel. Yeah, you definitely could. You know where, and Rob, this is a place I would recommend, and And I can, if you want to message me on the Irish Guy Facebook page, I can send you a direct link. But we stayed at this place. This is actually, I went with my wife to here, but went to the French side of St. Martin. There's a French side and a Dutch side. But went to the French side of St. Martin, rented this vacation rental, and this vacation rental was basically the basement of this guy's house. It was, but it was detached, so it wasn't creepy. But you just walked out, you were on the sand, you had a hot tub on the sand. I mean, it was a truly incredible place. A little bit over, I think it was around between $100 and $200 US a night, which was next to nothing. But what was so cool, he had kayaks. You could get in a kayak and kayak over to Pinnell Island, which was, I think it was about a mile or so nautical, a few nautical miles. But it was an easy paddle, and he just went over and drank all day and ate. They had 2 really good restaurants on that island, and just drank and hike and get in the water. And they had tables in the ocean. It's just a really, really cool place. You ought to check that out for sure. Everybody there speaks French. It's like, I don't speak French. I enjoyed their food. The food there was incredible. And there's a place right around the corner. It wasn't, you didn't kayak to it, but it was called Orient Beach. And it was just a short car ride from the rental we had, from the vacation rental. Drive over there. It's this outside dining area with all these fine restaurants. And we had La Table d'Anton was the name of it. It was a really good French restaurant. And then one of the other things we did, and one of the biggest regrets, and what was on the radar for this year, either there again or Curacao. I haven't been to Curacao yet. That's, by the way, close to South America. That was on my to-do list for this year until Corona hit. But I want to go back to St. Bart's, because I was only on St. Bart's for one night. But we went to a restaurant there. It's called On the Rocks. It's part of the Eden Rock Resort, which is a Forbes 5-star hotel property or whatever. But you're talking about some good food, man. And that was right on the sand. They've got a restaurant down below. It's called Sandbar. That's where we ate because it was a little bit less expensive. Although, walking out of there, we spent over $200 easily for our dinner, which was worth every penny. But then On the Rocks is their famous restaurant, which is on this little rocky ledge right over the ocean. And that's in St. Bart's. Yeah, South America, dude. I would love to. I'd love to check that out sometime, especially the backpacking part of South America. I'm kind of when it comes to one place I've kind of cut out that I used to go quite a bit was Mexico, but obviously because of all the cartel activity, I mean you can get in some really dangerous stuff there. And I'm not trying to give Mexico a bad name, but one of my last experiences in Cozumel was I was going up to get some. I was actually just walking up to buy some Modelo, some of their cheap beer down there at a little corner store. And I looked over, and this car pulls up. These 2 guys in it, both of them have a Mac 11 on their lap with 32 round or so magazine. And I look at them, and I don't flinch or anything. I just go about my way because, were they doing a random drive-by of a tourist or what? What was their intent? I have no idea. But when I saw that, and I quickly realized, this is not necessarily a safe place to vacation. Yeah, I know, man. Even in the resort towns, it's like they're like decapitated bodies are showing up in the streets because of all the cartel activity. It's raw, man. It is raw. Not a pleasure town, that's for sure. I hate that, but that's the thing. You if you know where you are and you know how to handle yourself and know, you know, how to not stand out in a bad way, you know, you'll be okay. And it's just funny. I mean, some people I know are just so dumb when it comes to traveling and this, that, and the other. I mean, not just dumb, but just totally careless. Man, I wish they had these things you could get a while back. They were called shower soothers, and you'd throw them in your shower. And when the shower water hit it, it made like a mist, like a eucalyptus type mist, and they would clear your head out. They discontinued that product. Such a shame. Such a shame for sure. Man. Yeah, I do not feel good. But you got to keep streaming. I said that reminds me of a Brazil story. Was trying to buy a beer at a corner bakery. Yes, bakery sells beer. Guy outside under his jacket had a cut off AK under it. Very nice. Look at everyone. He looked at me up and down. What camera do you use for the live stream? And actually, I've got it linked on my website, but check out my website for the Brio, B-R-I-O, and you can find it there. And I did use my standard cameras with an HDMI, but you know, because I didn't know if I wanted to keep my camera on for an hour or so straight. I mean, I guess it's okay for it, but for that reason, I bought just a dedicated webcam, which is nothing fancy, but it works. But I think I may get an HDMI to USB-C or an HDMI to Thunderbolt 3, whatever you want to call it. Oh, man. Yeah, it can be a dangerous world if you don't know where you are. Yeah, it's it is crazy. Bazar says, I knew something was about to happen and felt it. I stopped, pulled a beer out of the pack, and offered it to him. He laughed and said, sure. And we drank a beer right there, and I left. Well, you know what? That's an unexpected... I bet they didn't expect that reaction, so that was actually pretty cool. Missed the other end. Trying to think of any other sketchy things that... I don't know. I mean, there's been encounters, that's for sure. Well, let's see. Everybody, we're about an hour in. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate everyone joining in, and sorry for the short-lived show, but I've got this congestion, so I got to go take a shower. Thanks for your viewership. Be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy. And y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.